Hi everyone, this is author and publisher Victoria Sheffield. I hope everyone is doing good today. I want to welcome you all to Conversations and Tea with me. This is a new platform that God gave me that I am using, where I will be sharing resources and tips for authors and aspiring authors. I will also use this platform as a book discussion for my book club. So I want to begin by just sharing just a little bit, not a whole lot of me in this video, but I want people that may be watching to understand who I am and know who I am in this whole publishing industry. So in 2007, I self-published my first book, which is a workbook for children that helps prepare them for kindergarten. In 2009, I self-published my second book, a storybook for children, and the title of that book is Strawberry Shortcakes and Lemonade. And so since then, in 2009, I established my own publishing company called Jeru Publications. And Jeru Publications is actually a spin off of my state registered nonprofit organization, Jeru Publications. So I'm just thankful for everything that God has allowed me to do, because through Jeru Publications, so many things have happened, so many things that I never even dreamed would happen, especially for a person that had no idea that she would even be an author. I've helped so many people with their dream of becoming an author come true. I have people that have chosen to publish their books through Jeru Publications. I have people that only decided that they wanted to use the services that we offer, and they wanted to self-publish their own book. And so that's the wonderful, amazing thing about having a writing service as well as a publishing company. You can be a beacon of the light that just sort of offers every and anything that people need, anywhere from cover design, anywhere from editing services, you name it. Even the writing coaching services that we offer are great, because some desire to be an author and they have a little bit of trouble, making words in the sense that people can understand clearly what they are trying to convey. So regardless of what it is, me and my team, I have a few people that work with me. I'm a graphic designer, but I also have other graphic designers that work with me. I have no experience necessary as an artist, so I don't draw, I don't do any of that. But guess what? There are people in my family that are artists that are a part of my team. So regardless of what it is, maybe you're a person that doesn't know how to typeset. That means to type and put things in a document that looks like it should. We have someone that does it all, and that's my area. I'm really well at typing and typesetting. So I wanted to just share a little bit of background on me so that you all will know who I am, because a lot of time you have a lot of people that say, well, you know what, I'm a writing coach, I'm a business coach, I'm a life coach. But majority of those people have not been called. Majority of those people do not even have the experience necessary to be able to help someone else. So I wanted to let you all know that I have authored many books. I don't keep count. I tell people this, and some people may think I'm lying, but I don't. I do not keep count with the amount of titles that I have, because I don't think that that is really important. What's important is creating something that is quality and something that's blessing and touching the lives of people. But what I will do at the end of this video, I will leave links below to where you can take a look at a whole lot of my publications. Many of them you will not find on platforms like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, etc. Simply because in a lot of cases, I just feel as an author and publisher that the smart thing to do is to cut the middleman out in terms of how much money that I'm making. So now that that is over, I am excited to be sharing with you all the book that me and 4 other ladies wrote together. The name of that book, I've got a few copies here, is Women of Power. Hopefully you all can see it okay. It's a beautiful book. Again, me and 4 other ladies collaborated. Diana Hill, she's anointed and appointed in the area of marriages. Cherie Collier, she's actually my cousin-in-law. So I was blessed. She's just like a little sister to me to have her working on this project with me. Felicia Rushing, this is one anointed woman of God that I met online, where a lot of people feel, you know what, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, social media as a whole, a lot of bad stuff takes place. Well, you know what I want to say to those people? A lot of great things take place throughout social media also, because I've been blessed to say that I've connected with some beautiful women and men of God. And for that, you know, I can only thank God for allowing me to meet these wonderful women that I know are powerful. Bishop Kelly Zimmerman, you know, God touched her heart in a way where she shared with us some things about her being sick, you know, and how God had really touched her body, and she's not 100% healed, but she's not where she used to be, and so she's still trusting and believing in God. But you know, she shares some of the things that she's gone through with being sick and how her faith in God has kept her throughout it all. And I'm just so honored and blessed because, you know, one of the things about working on this Women of Power project was I wanted to be able to work with authors that had never written a book before. And I think most of these, with the exception of Diana Hill, she started working on another collaboration with someone else but didn't quite finish it, or something happened with that, and I don't want to really get into that. But I wanted to show people, as a writing coach and someone that God uses to birth gifts out of people, that you all can do this. That was my aim, and that was my goal. And in my mind, I thought to myself, I really pray that after this takes place, that these women will consider going on and doing their own book on their own, even if that means that they do not use Jeru Publications. And at least 2 of them sent me a message and said, guess what? I'm working on my own book. And I said to myself, thank you, Jesus. And I let them know that I'm so proud of everything that they have done. And I'm so thankful because they were so transparent about their personal lives. And I cannot share everything, but I want to say this. You all want to get this book, because this book will empower, it will inspire. Yes, in many cases it will make you cry, as it made me cry. I will be honest. You know, one of the ladies that were one of the contributors, she wrote about how one of her family members left the house and never returned. This is the reason why we should never take people for granted. Diana Hill, the one that's anointed and appointed in the area of marriage ministry, and is currently working on a book about godly marriages. So I'm excited about that, even though I've been married for 25 years. We all can use help in that area. And so Diana was very transparent, and she didn't have to be, you know, about some things that happened in her marriage and how God restored. So if you're someone married or someone that aspires to get married someday, you've got to read Diana's testimony, Cherie's testimony about, as a teenager, she lost her mother and how devastating that was. But guess what? God even restored her in that. So each woman here had something to contribute. Now, God did not lay it in my spirit to write a testimony. You know, I have another book titled It's Been a Long Journey. If you all want to hear Part of my story is the purple book, available on Amazon. You can find it. I encourage you all to search Amazon for It's Been a Long Journey by Victoria Sheffield. It's the purple book with me on the front cover. You'll find that there's some really, really good information in that book. I speak a lot about my life, being called in the ministry, how I raised my children, who I am as a spirit-filled woman, my spiritual gifts, some spiritual encounters that I have experienced in my life that probably some people won't believe, but it's okay because it's my story, and as long as I know that it's true, that's really all that matters. And so also, if you all go on Amazon, search Women of Power by Victoria Sheffield, there are some sample chapters there that you can actually read. But what God laid it upon my heart to do in this book, and then I'm going to be like getting out of you guys' way in a minute, is to empower. That's what he spoke to me and told me to do. So I have 10 chapters here. And I'm just going to basically read the titles of the chapters just so you all will know what's on the inside of the book. And I'm just going to kind of read the chapters fast. Every chapter has the word woman in it. Chapter 1, characteristics of a woman of power. Chapter 2, woman of worth. Chapter 3, woman of business. And that's my area. All of these are my areas. But because I'm a 25 plus a few more years entrepreneur, this was really my area, especially as a spirit-filled woman. And I mean, God really used me in that area and all the other chapters as well. In fact, it took me 6 months to complete this book, and there's not a whole lot of pages in this book. But what I want you all to know is that I waited on God. It was very important. This was not information that came from me, because I want, when women read this book, for them to understand what it is to live their life truly walking as a powerful woman of God. And I believe that through me and the other contributors that God did his thing. Chapter 4, woman of potential. Chapter 5, woman of excellence. Chapter 6, woman of the house. Chapter 7, woman of prosperity. Chapter 8, woman of confidence. Chapter 9, woman of influence. Chapter 10, woman of wisdom. There's no chapter 11. But after chapter 10, this is the area where the guest contributors come in and they share their testimonies. The sun is shining pretty bright in here. That's a little bit better. I had to let my blinds down because the sun was kind of putting a glare on the screen. But anyway, after chapter 10, the 4 contributors come in, and that's when they share their testimonies. And then at the end, the Lord laid it upon my spirit to write a prayer for women. And then after that, I summarized what I thought about each chapter. And so what I want to do is just to show you a few of the pages. This is the prayer for women. Something else I would like to show you all after each chapter. There's a page to journal. Also, after each chapter, God said put a Bible verse reference where you all can kind of read the Bible verse and open up your Bible, and there's a related Bible verse to all of the information that's read. And I'll be honest with you, I just wish I had time to read an entire chapter, but I don't. But what I will do is read the back cover. It says, as women, we wear many hats and are naturally expected to be everything to everyone. We are nurturers, wives, mothers, visionaries, and even more. Sometimes we can even find ourselves tired of our many duties. Often we've been taken for granted and misunderstood. The great news is that as women of God, we understand that we must lean on God as our source and gain strength from one another. This is so true for all the women that's trying to outdo one another. That ain't it. We need to be working together and coming together. The great news is that as women of God, we understand that we must lean on God as our source and gain strength from one another. The Lord said, read that thing again, because something about that just resonated in my soul. So many people, you know what? They're trying to outdo one another. That's not God's intentions. That's not his intentions at all, because you know what? I've said this. I've posted it on social media. Ministry should never, ever be a competition. It should never be a competition. You know, it would have been an awful thing to see God's disciples that he chose, come on now, because he chose all of us, trying to compete one another. The laborers are already few, and that's what the word says. So if it's already not enough people, then there is more than enough people out here for all of us to come together and touch. And we can encourage and empower one another along the way. So we've got to get that. And if you all haven't, please join CWBN, Christian Women's Business Network, on Facebook, because that's what we're about, empowerment and encouraging one another, you know, and just helping one another along the way, because I just believe that that's God's intentions. Okay, all of us have gone through trials and tribulations, and we are much more alike than different. Most powerful women of God can all agree that those things that we ought or that we thought were meant to take us out just made us stronger. Read Women of Power and gain strength from the contributors' testimonies and empowerment from myself. The testimonies have sent chills through my spine and even made me cry. And this is true. I cried through each of their testimonies, and I even cried through some of the information that God had me write in the book. Y'all have to excuse me. I live next door to an elderly neighbor that I love very much, and this is the second time an ambulance has pulled up to her house. So I'm concerned about her. I need y'all to pray, and I am praying for her right now. And so that's why I'm sort of distracted, but you know, I've got to finish this video. And so the testimonies, I've already read that, have sent chills through my spine and even made me cry. So it's okay to read it again. The contributors were all transparent about their life-changing experiences as they shared how through it all, God kept them. You know, and that's something that he does. He keeps us. I know, as for myself, I've gone through many things as a woman in business, as a woman of the house, okay, as a woman that's been sick in her life. Yes, me, I was very sick. Very, very sick. One time I couldn't even walk to my mailbox and back because I suffered a nervous breakdown, you all. But God, 5 days in the hospital. But God. But see, you know what? The anointing costs. And I'm just so thankful that I'm here to be able to share and to be able to tell you guys about it. That God is a healer. And when I was in the hospital, he came in my room and he spoke specifically to me. So that's part of my testimony. And so after reading this, you will be revived. You will be empowered. And know your place as a powerful woman of God. And I put Proverbs 31 up under that. So this is the Women of Power book. This is the back of it. And I sold the first copy. That's always an aha, praise God, hallelujah moment when you sell the first copy of it about a week ago. So I'm thankful for that. So enough of Women of Power. Let's talk about this book, God Don't Like Ugly. Here's another hallelujah moment, you all. 300 pages I read, and I am finished. I say this because I don't have time to read books, you all. I'm a writer. I write more than I read, but I understand that since I have a book club, I've had a book club for a few years now. I think maybe about 3. I'm not even sure. But I encourage you all to, if you haven't, join Writers Network and Book Club on Facebook. This is a book club that I created through Jeru Publications, but God have expanded that group, and so now we are Worldwide Writers Network and Book Club, and we're doing amazing things. We just got finished not too long ago doing a literary fair and also a book sale where the authors were able to list their books for 3 days. We had virtual speakers online with a Facebook event, and it was so nice. We've got a few things that I have in store, so the only way for you all to truly find out what's going on next, what's coming up next, you'd have to join that group. If you're here in Metro Atlanta, I have my very first offline book club meeting at a public library here. Also, let me know if you're interested in that, because it's not only a book club meeting, it's a networking event for authors. It's free. We're going to have tea. We are actually going to have herbal tea. We're going to have appetizers. This is an opportunity to even bring out some of your books. The library would not allow us to do any selling, but I say bring about 3 books, and whatever happens, happens. But back to God don't like ugly. I've got to share with you all the details of this book, because this may be something that you will consider reading. A few of the people in my book club on Facebook, Writers Network and Book Club, actually said that they read this book a long time ago, because I posted this book within that group some time ago when I first got it, because I was sort of excited about reading. I haven't really been one to read a book since high school. The only time I read is when I'm editing or writing my own material. So now I've gotten back into reading, and I'm finding out that I like it. It's very therapeutic. It gives me something to do. It's just like a really good movie. I can sort of go in my room, shut the door, and tell my children not to bother me because I'm reading. It gave me something to do every night before I went to bed. So I want to encourage all, if you are not reading, get back to reading. Just make sure that you're reading a really good book that sends a positive message, because just like we have bad things on TV, you know what? Some books do not have material in them that are really good. So let's talk about how I even got this book. I mean, this is true. I've got to just be transparent. I can't pretend. I went in a library, and as I'm walking in the library, I pray all the time. I'm a prayer warrior, so there you have it. And I said, God, I need to start reading more. I have this book club. I've never had the type of book club where we read a book and we did book discussion and all of that. But in this new year, 2018, I'm transitioning into that. So I heard him clear as day say God don't like ugly. After I asked him to show me, because I don't even know half of the authors that I saw, most of them in the library. The only thing I could think of was, I don't know these authors, you know. The authors that I know are the ones that are in my book club, right? I remember Judy Bloom from high school and Daniel Steele, simply because this woman sells more books than a little bit. So there are a few authors that I have heard of, but again, because I really don't read. I want to clarify that to you all, because I am a business coach. I read books about business, but most of the time I do not read those from front to back. I skim those books. Because I am a minister, I read the Bible daily, you know, because that's something that I have to read. I have books. I have many books. I have my own library. I skim books. I do not read them. So y'all have got to know, it's exciting for me to say that I did something. You know, I'm going to give myself a pat on both backs, because I did something consistently. But what I want you all to know is that I did a little research on Mary Monroe. I even tried to contact her I think she is probably up in age now because I did some research, but she's still alive. Had no idea. She is a best-selling author. She has sold many, many publications. This book was good. Let me see if I can find a picture in here. It has a lot of the books that she's written. I think I'm going to actually purchase the next book up from this book because the title of that book is God Still Don't Like Ugly. So she's so amazing and so powerful that this is actually a tip for authors. When you're writing, do the same thing that they do when you're watching something on TV and it's kind of like a to be continued until next time. They make you want to go back and read the next book up. That's what she does. And so that was something that even I learned. I've been professionally writing since 2007. But I'm never in position in my life where I cannot learn. So I want you all to know that. I'm going to show you all a picture. I actually found her I did a Google search. I found her on YouTube. I don't know, you can barely see her here. She's got a few videos on YouTube, but she's much, much older now. And so what I want to do, briefly, this book has like 50-something chapters. Briefly, I want to talk to y'all about this book. The two young ladies on the front of this book, I will not share a lot of information either. One of them, when she was a little girl, her mother moved a gentleman into their house because he did not have a place to stay. When she was a little girl, he started molesting her. She was probably only about 7 or 8. She never told her mother. Never. Okay? So then, some years later, she meets this other girl on the front cover. This is her best friend, Rhoda. And so the only person she ever told about this abuse was her. And so Rhoda was the type of friend, if you all have ever had a friend like her, that, you know what, she helped build her friend's self-esteem, you know, in sense that letting her know that, you know what, you need to tell somebody, girl, you know, and that type of thing. You don't have to deal with this stuff. That's the kind of friend that Rhoda was. So the two girls had a whole lot of fun together. Rhoda's family actually owned a funeral home, and it was kind of strange because the funeral home that they owned, they actually lived in the house with the funeral home. So that was interesting. The book has a whole lot of high, low points. One of the other high points was, in the midst of me reading, I found out that the one that's being abused, her name is Annette. Her mother was actually one that was a prostitute. There's no other way for me to put it. And so that was kind of interesting. And, you know, with each chapter that I read, the author made it so interesting that I could not wait to get back to my book. And for me, that was amazing because I have never had that experience where I read a book. I'll be honest, she's good at what she does. I see why all those years ago that she was a best-selling author and still is today. Because let me just put it like this. Sister Kate knew what she was doing. A lot of what I saw in this book, I do not see in a lot of the books that I read today. And if I do, it comes from another best-selling author. That's what makes a film a really good film, because it keeps people going. You know, that's what makes artwork really good, because once you get a piece of Michelangelo, whoever's artwork, you'll want another piece. And that's what they do, the bestsellers, when they write best-selling books. They make you want to continue reading everything that they've written. So, again, that's a tip for authors. You got to keep people going if you want to be a best-selling author. You got to make people feel like, oh, I can't wait to see what he or she is doing next. So the basis of this book, I can't tell you all a whole lot because it's kind of like spoiling a movie. You know, her mother moves around a whole lot. Even in the book, it talks a lot about when her mother will be running from bill collectors and things like that. And keep in mind, the girls are teenagers in high school. So there are some things in here where they talk about when they're at school. And Rhoda, this girl here, she is a firecracker full of self-esteem. So when she goes to school and other students pick on her or whatever it is, she's one of those, she's ready to fight. Whereas Annette, she's very shy. And that's what happens a lot of times in real life where there are cases of abuse, especially child abuse. It's a lot of times, often it's with a child that is already quiet or already shy and one that's not susceptible to speak. And so it was interesting but sort of sad because her abuser would tell her, if you tell your mother, I would kill your mother. In fact, I would kill you. And oh my goodness, you all would have to really read it to find out what happens next. But there's something that I really, really want to share with you all. I do not want to share this because I'm trying to make the author look bad. I need you to know that. The reason why I'm sharing this with you all is because you need to know. When I got to about page 100, okay, ordinarily, I would not read, I wouldn't even purchase books with profanity in the book. But a lot of I won't really say a lot. I'm just going to say the chapters, got to the point where you would read profanity, okay? And I asked myself, I said, oh my goodness, should I toss this book or should I keep going? I mean, I'm just keeping it real because I'm not holier than thou. Let me just say that I'm not perfect. I don't hang around or live around people every day that's perfect. I'm being myself and being real. So I came to the conclusion when I asked myself this question, that I would keep reading the book. I had already read 100 pages, and I'm one of those, I'm nosy. I wanted to know what came next, and so that's what happened. I made it past 100. By the time I read the 200, I kept going. But if you're a person and you do not want to read profanity, I don't care how exciting or how interesting or how good the book was, you probably don't want to read this one. But I thought about this too. Sometimes you turn on TV, you got stuff on TV that, it's really sad to say, where they cursing. You go to the movies, people are cursing, and you didn't know that they would start cursing until you actually sat down for a while. And it wasn't like you was going to take the popcorn back, or it wasn't like they were going to give you the money back. And so that's the same way I felt about this book. And I'm a minister. I don't use profanity. That's not my way of doing things, but at the same time, I'm not going to judge anybody for what they do. She's a best-selling author. I probably would never write a book with a curse word in it. I'm just going to keep it real. But this was a good book. Will I go on and purchase one or others that she has authored? Yes, I will. But I had to be honest, because that's what this is about. We're talking book talk. That's what Conversations and Tea is about. I'm just sharing details about books. And a few things before I go, because I'm moving close to the time. It's 33 minutes, my computer is saying. And I really didn't mean to do maybe 25 minutes. If you are an author and you want me to give your book a shout out, okay, I can do that. What you can do is mail me a copy of your book. I will actually read your book, and I will share on Conversations and Tea what I think about your book. Honestly, so don't get mad with me. Just like Miss Monroe, if she watched this video, hopefully she wouldn't get mad at me, but I have to tell the truth about it because this is book talk, and we're talking about the contents of my books as well as other people's books. And so you send me a copy of your book, and I would do the same thing with your book that I'm doing with her book. If you'd like to purchase her book, You can go to Amazon. This book, as well as a lot of the books that she has authored, are there. So this concludes book talk. It concludes book talk. And one other thing. Oh yeah, before I go, I don't want to forget to do this. I posted something on social media a while back, and the thing was, how would you like to get a free copy of the PDF ebook, tips and resources for authors? It's just a very small ebook that I've created that goes along with my writer's boot camp course that I have. And so if you'd like to get a free copy of that ebook, now what you need to do is subscribe to this channel. Once I check the validity of the fact that you send me a message and say that you're subscribed, I will then send you a free copy. You don't have to pay a dime of that. So I need you to do me a favor, like and subscribe to this channel. I also need you to go to Jeru, Jeru Publications on Facebook, and subscribe to that. I've got something else new coming up. I got some events on and offline that I want to share, but I probably will not talk about it today since time is getting by. But if you join that group, everything that I am doing, I will post within that group. So it's been so nice having conversations and tea with you all today. I've got to go because I've got some books I need to finish writing. And I've got a writing coach session that I have with someone. So it's been great. You all have a blessed and prosperous day. Keep on writing and believing that God will inspire you to be able to touch the lives of people. You all have a blessed day. Goodbye.